Hi, my name is ZaKaiRan, and welcome to another one of my outrageously amazing, insanely enlightening master keys of creation about how to be the absolute, amazing, unlimited master of divine creation that you truly are to create the joy, love, well-being, and abundance that you desire. You'll find tons more self-empowering goodies to help you become a conscious, deliberate creator on my website at ZaKaiRan.com. I hope you'll come visit me there. So here we go. Lust versus delicious, joyful desire. Or good feeling desire versus bad feeling desire. How to create and attract your delicious, fun desires by getting happy to attract happy desires that match your happiness. So what is the difference between lusting after someone or something and just enjoying the delicious joy of desiring that person or desiring having that thing? Well, first of all, there's nothing wrong with lust or envy or any of the other so-called 7 deadly sins, other than the fact that they are lower in vibration than other more positive-oriented ways to desire. And as an example, let's compare lust and desire. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with desiring someone sexually whatsoever. We are all sexual beings, and we all came to planet Earth and got into these amazing, very sensual, very feeling human bodies to experience all of the delicious sensual pleasures of life, including sex. If it didn't feel so good, then what could possibly be wrong with it? It's only ignorant, misguided, sexually repressed, shame-riddled religious zealots who came up with the insane notion that there's something sinful or wrong about sex, and the further insane idea that there's something wrong with pleasure in general, and that there is, contrarily, something more virtuous about pain, suffering, and struggle, which could not be farther from the truth. I mean, that is some pretty fucked up psychology. Because the fact of the matter is that our true divine essence, as the source beings we all truly are, is pure joy, ecstasy, and pleasure. That's right, baby. Our divine essence, as the source beings we all truly are, is not pain, struggle, sacrifice, and suffering, and prove our worth by how much we have suffered. There is no such thing as sin or evil. That is 100% a complete lie invented by self-loathing, ignorant, uneducated clergy who compare themselves to an omnipotent God and then felt unworthy and not good enough, or dreamed up the insane notion that they were somehow, ejected from heaven for being naughty and somehow deserved God's wrath because of it. But I can assure you that he, she, it, God, goddess, all that is, does not have anything remotely resembling wrath. As far as God is concerned, there is no such thing as judgment or anger, only unconditional love. Judgment is a human creation projected onto a God that humans created in their image rather than humans being made in God's image. So, not only are we all the pure essence of eternal, infinite joy, we are all eternal creators and eternal desirers. And we will all naturally always desire more and better and more and better of everything. Especially anything and everything wonderful and beautiful. Because that's how God's source is. That's how the universe of infinite, joyful creation is. And because our divine essence is infinite joy, we will always desire more and better fun stuff and fun people and fun experiences, etc., to continue feeling awesome for eternity. And so, desire is not only pure and natural, but it is the absolute first step of creation. And there's basically two kinds of desire. There's good feeling, abundance-oriented desire, and bad feeling, lack-oriented desire, which we could call lust or an envy. Good feeling, abundance-oriented desire is when you are enjoying the feeling of an abundance of that desire as if it is already here right now, without thinking about that you can obtain that desire, etc. You are enjoying all of the juicy, exciting, fun feelings of being, doing, and having that delicious desire without any lack-oriented doubts and fears that it won't manifest. You're just having fun imagining the lover in your bed or the car in your driveway. Whereas bad feeling, lack-oriented desire is feeling bad because your bed is empty and the girl or guy doesn't like you, or you imagine that they don't like you, or you believe it is somehow impossible for you two to be together, like he or she is out of your league, or you're too young, or too old, or not good looking enough, or not wealthy enough, or successful enough, etc. Bad feeling, lustful desire, and envy are full of doubt and unworthiness. You believe that by getting that person in your life as your lover, well, that will make you happy. But you think more about an absence of that person, or the impossibility of having that person as your lover, more than the joyful abundance of having them as your lover. That's bad feeling desire. Or whatever your desire is, whether it's a new car, new house, financial success, good feeling or God feeling desire is simply enjoying every delicious possibility of playing with that lover or that thing or that new toy without doubting or fearing not getting your desire or seeing a lack of your desire. You're happy just enjoying your delicious, desirable person or object or car or house or boat or whatever without the physical need for that person or thing to actually physically manifest in your life. That is unconditional desire. That is unconditional love. That's unconditional joy. Good God-feeling desire is unconditional, magical, fun desire. You don't care whether your desire is physically here or not. You're just having fun, enjoying, lusting after that desire without any degree of desperation or lack or doubt. In other words, your happiness is independent of the physical condition of that desire. That's good, fun, good God-feeling, fun desire. Whereas lack-oriented, doubtful, unworthy, I'm not good enough, not talented enough, etc. oriented or quote-unquote lustful desire, where your happiness is completely dependent upon the physical manifestation of that desire, is what breeds unhappiness and desperation and the classic War of the Roses and divorce and breakups and relationship dramas and ultimately criminal activity. Lustful desire breeds unhappiness because you need control over the object of your desire. You need to possess it and have it. I must have it. Control that we often seem to not have because we're not rich enough or pretty enough or sexy enough or young enough or fat enough or fit enough or successful enough, etc. It's a very powerless oriented kind of desire. And lustful desirers feel desperate to prove their worthiness or their success or their looks or their desirability, to the extreme that they may even lie about their age or status. I mean, you see that all the time on dating profiles, or they get plastic surgery to create physical sexiness, or they become fitness obsessed to maintain youth and sexiness so that they'll always be attracted to other people. Basically, conditional, lustful desire is full of desperation. I need that person or that thing to be happy. And if I don't get it, I'm going to be unhappy. So, desperate people work very hard to try and succeed or be fit or be young, etc., to be sexy, to prove worthiness. Lustful desire and today's general conditionally oriented relationships are full of lack and doubts and fears. They're very insecure kind of relationships. And the partners in those relationships are always busy trying to prove and maintain their worthiness to their partners so their partner won't leave them and will continue to love them and shower them with affection and approve of them and be nice to them and have sex with them, etc. Basically, prove worthiness to get what you want. And this classic conditional love pattern that all of society's relationships are built upon, in order to maintain those relationships and keep the love and approval and affection coming your way, well, you must make countless deals and vows and agreements and contracts and exchange money and resources, etc., to get what you want, because deep down people don't believe that they deserve the love that they are getting or that they'd like to get. They feel unworthy, not good enough, not talented enough, etc. Basically, conditional relationship and bad feeling, lustful desire, which are basically the same thing, is what most relationships are built upon, which is more of a lack-oriented rather than abundance-oriented relationship. And they're full of lack and unworthiness. And, of course, lustful desire is full of doubt. I doubt that I'm going to be able to get this person. So I just lust after them. I want them. I want to possess them. And if I can possibly get them, then I'll be happy. It lacks belief. It lacks confidence. It lacks understanding that we all have the same equal power and freedom to create anything we desire. And we can be happy unconditionally. We don't need people and things and to possess and own things to feel good. We can just feel good regardless of how much we've got and who we've got. In the case of humans that we desire, well, first, we give that person the power over our happiness. The belief is that if I get that lover, I'll be happy. And if I don't, I'll be sad. And of course, you feel helpless and powerless when they leave you. And we all want to be happy, not sad. So loaded in with that scenario is the fear, the desperate fear of being rejected and abandoned and left and cheated on, etc., rather than appreciated and desired. We think about the fear of the person not wanting to be with us, which makes us feel sad and desperate. And then if we actually succeed in getting that person or coercing that person or convincing that person to be with us, well, then we fear losing them, either to another more worthy, sexier mate, or them dying, or them leaving us for countless other fear-based reasons, etc. Or to put it simply, good feeling, healthy desire is enjoying the ecstatic, delicious, fun, excitement of playing with your new person, lover, friend, or your new toy. And just feeling the fun of imagining every little thing that you will do with them without any doubt or lack or fear. And bad feeling, lustful desire is thinking about a lack of that desire, not have an absence of that desire, or a fear that you won't get your desire, and doubting that you can create it. And envy falls into a similar bad feeling category because envy is 100% full of lack, doubt, and unworthiness. You are comparing someone else and what they have created and manifested in their lives and seeing a distinct lack of that thing that you desire in your life, and you believe that you'd be happier if you had what they have or had their life. Both lust and envy are based on a conditional existence, that if I can get that person, thing, or situation, well, then I'll be happy. And if I don't, well, I'll be very unhappy, which is a very powerless position to put yourself into. A powerless position that most people live their lives based on, which is letting external conditions control your happiness. This is the same conditional pattern that creates every bit of suffering on planet Earth. Letting external conditions determine your happiness. It's the most powerless position that you can put yourself into because you have no power or control over external conditions and people, contrary to what humanity tends to believe. Even if we somehow did have some degree of control over external conditions, as humans tend to believe, well, it's way too much work to try and control 3 billion people so that you can finally be happy when all of those 3 billion people have all changed to suit your needs and desires to make you happy. Contrary to what humans erroneously believe, none of us have any control whatsoever over external conditions or people, because there's no such thing as assertion. There is only attraction in this attraction-based universe. And we get into relationships with each other under the false belief that another person somehow has the assertive power to assert joy and love or the opposite upon us. But they absolutely cannot. They can see us as an object of affection, which we can react positively to. But nevertheless, it is our reaction that makes us feel good or bad, not the other person's love, affection, or the opposite of that, and them rejecting us. So whether or not someone showers you with love and affection and or rejection and loathing, either way, it's not their feelings and their beliefs, etc., or their actions that positively or negatively affect you. It's your decision and reaction to that positive or negative attention that they're giving you, and your judgment that that is good or bad behavior that makes you feel good or bad, not what they're doing. It's basically taking what other people are doing personally, when the fact of the matter is what other people think, say, and do has absolutely nothing to do with you, because everyone sees reality through their own filters. It's relatively impossible for people to actually see you and know you and understand you, because they are not you. They can't feel for you. They can't think like you do. We're all unique individual beings. It's like this. If a complete stranger comes up to you and says, "I'm leaving you. I'm going away to Alaska and marrying an Eskimo." Well, you'd say, "Great. Have fun, psycho." You wouldn't feel sad that they are leaving you forever, because you don't care about them at all. You don't know them, and you have nothing invested in this mythical relationship that they've come up with. But if your wife or husband or lover or friend says the same thing, well, your reaction may be somewhat different. But the point is, it doesn't have to be, as long as your happiness is not dependent on what your wife, husband, lover, friend, family, etc. does. If your happiness is independent of external people and conditions, well, you could just as easily react the same way as the stranger, and simply say, okay, honey, have fun. Send me a postcard. Every one of the so-called 7 deadly sins of lust, envy, greed, wrath, gluttony, pride, and sloth are, quote, deadly because they are based in doubt, lack, fear, and unworthiness rather than abundance and joy and unconditional love. They're based on the classic pattern of experiencing pain and suffering anytime a person thinks about anything unwanted. It will always feel bad anytime you think about anything unwanted. That's guaranteed, which includes a lack of something that you desire, or doubting your desire, or doubting yourself and your ability to manifest that desire, and desperately needing the manifestation of a desire to feel better. The 7 deadlies are all about trying to obtain and possess and control and own something or someone so that you can be happy. Having something or someone to love and be loved by them so that you can feel joyful and worthy. For instance, lust is a desire for a person to be in your life, to basically own them, possess them, etc., so to speak, so that you can feel better. But it tends to be full of lack of that person, which feels bad. You fear them actually not being in your life rather than enjoying an abundance of that person, which always feels good, even if they're not physically here yet. That's conditionally oriented desire rather than unconditionally oriented desire. Whereas straight up fun desire is enjoying the unconditional feeling of being with that lovely person, even though it's just in your mind and maybe they don't even know you. Whereas lust is 100% conditionally oriented, bad feeling kind of desire because the physical reality of that person does not exist yet. And you think more about the lack or absence of that person rather than an abundance of that person. Or conditionally feeling good if you're lucky enough to persuade the object of your desire to hop in bed with you. Anyway, basically, good feeling desire is unconditionally oriented. It is independent of physical conditions, whereas bad feeling, quote-unquote, lustful desire is completely dependent on the physical manifestation of that person being here in your life. But we could also say that there is good feeling lust, whereby you are deliciously desiring someone that is right in front of you, or you imagine is right in front of you, and the lust is reciprocal, and both of you feel amazing, or you imagine that it's reciprocal, because there is no doubt whatsoever that you will soon be both naked, writhing around in a sensual, delightful journey and dancing the horizontal mambo. I mean, that's some fun, good feeling lust. And going down the 7 deadly sins list, classic greed is similarly conditional in nature, where a person is desperately trying to fill a void of disconnection from their own source and to conditionally be happy because they believe that they need money, riches, wealth, success, fame, toys, etc. to feel worthy and to feel happy. The void is feeling helpless and powerless and not good enough and unworthy and feeling a disconnection from source. But all those feelings of feeling helpless and powerless, which of course are generally unconscious, are 100% lies that person has decided to believe for various reasons from interacting with society and parents and siblings and teachers and clergy and lovers and friends, etc. We were basically taught it by society. It's a void that doesn't really exist, but humanity kind of believes that it does. That's where that whole concept and idea of feeling lesser than God and unworthy, etc., comes from. And because that void doesn't really exist, well, you can't really actually fill it. It's like a unfillable void. And you certainly cannot fill it with money and love and success, or any of the other countless desires that humanity tends to voraciously desire to somehow fill that void of feeling disconnected from source. The only thing that can fill the void is reconnecting to one's own true, unlimited, infinite, divine nature of pure love and unconditional source. To reconnect to one's true nature of joy, which is unconditional in nature. That's why conditional things like money and success and fame and relationships can't and don't fill the void. And so, to feel happy, the greedy consumer of joy needs a continual supply of new things and new bubbles and new shiny things and more money and drugs and etc. to feel happy, which is the absolute essence of greed. It is an insatiable desire for physical, conditional, external manifestations to feel good. And associated with the greed pattern is a ton of lack. An unhappy rich person fears the loss of their wealth, which really is a fear of loss of happiness, because they equate their happiness with their wealth and success. And so here's where the greedy person also becomes corrupt, because they will do anything to try and maintain their empire, to maintain their very shaky transitory happiness and keep the sadness and desperation and depression from entering their domain when and if they lose their money and success that they have fought so hard to achieve. So the next time you're judging the greedy, corrupt corporate raider, will have some compassion for their suffering, which is driving their desperate greed. And understand that they're just trying to feel better than the depression that they unconsciously feel from feeling helpless, powerless, and unworthy. And greed, riches, fame, success helps them feel better. They will never ultimately feel happy, though, unless they understand unconditional joy. But nevertheless, give them a break. You're not helping yourself or them by judging them. In fact, you're blocking prosperity from yourself by judging other people that you believe to be corrupt or unhappy or etc. because they're rich. And understand that not every rich person is a greedy asshole. There are a lot of very happy rich people out there who are enjoying the fruits of their labors without a desperate, greedy need for more and more and more to somehow fill a void that does not really exist. These are the ones that are more unconditionally happy regardless of their riches, and who do not fear the loss of their riches, because they understand the unlimited, abundant nature of creation. And even if they somehow lost everything, like a lot of times happens, well, they could get it back by just attracting it again because of their knowledge about finances, but mostly because of their appreciation of wealth and resources and all the momentum they have built up about wealth and resources and the joy that these things can bring to themselves and to others. And continuing on the deadly sin list. Envy is the same in a similar way to greed. Envious people are looking at desires that others already possess, and they compare themselves to those people and the things that they have, and imagine that if they can have that person or success or that toy, well, they'll be happier. They imagine that that person who has that money, love, or success, etc., is happier than them. Again, they're trying to fill a void that doesn't really exist, like the greedy ones. People believe that the void in their lives is the lack of lover or money or success, but that's not what the void really is. The void is a lack of joy, and they believe that that thing or that person or money, etc., will fill that joy void, that happiness void. The void is also a disconnection from their own source, as I've already said, because anytime you entertain bad, feeling limited, doubt, and lack-oriented, not good enough, etc., oriented thoughts, well, you disconnect yourself from your own source, because your source never, ever thinks in negative, limited ways. And gluttony is like food greed. It's using food or alcohol or drugs or sex, etc., as a band-aid to, again, fill a void that doesn't really exist. Gluttony and addictions in general use some sort of substance or food, etc., that creates a happy feeling, a very temporary happy feeling, to feel happy. Again, a very powerless position to put yourself into. And this is 100, gluttony is 100% conditional happiness. And the food, drug, tobacco, alcohol, sex, etc. addict, well, they need another hit and another hit to continually maintain that conditional, physically oriented happiness. And of course, this again breeds desperation and criminal behavior and violent behavior, because they've desperately got to try to maintain the happiness associated with this physical thing to conditionally feel good. But of course, that happiness is not real happiness, so it can never be fulfilled with physical things. You can't ever fulfill or create real happiness with external conditions. Only unconditional happiness is fulfilling. Only when one achieves a state of unconditional happiness does that person finally feel satisfied and fulfilled. And ultimately, gluttony is a desire to connect to source, because anytime you feel good, you feel disconnected from your own source. And of course, when you feel good, you feel connected to your own source. And people are using food or drugs or whatever as an excuse to connect to their source. They don't know that, they don't understand it, but that's basically what's going on. And wrath is just a form of revenge, which is an exertion of physical or emotional power and control to try and feel better than feeling the depressed feelings of what people often unconsciously feel, which is feelings of helplessness and powerlessness and unworthiness and not good enough, etc. And pride is just an addiction to being right, to feeling superior to others, because you secretly, unconsciously suffer from inferiority and desperately need approval from others to feel good about yourself. Of course, there's good pride, where you are proud of yourself for being aware and enlightened or talented or happy, or for being a good person, or for, our purposes today, being in alignment. You can be very proud of yourself that you're in alignment and happy every day because of that alignment. None of that has anything to do with any form of superiority or, warped pride. And sloth, well, I'm personally a big fan of sloths because they have perfected the art of taking it easy and chilling out. And I'm a big fan of ease. Absolutely a big fan of ease. I'm very driven, but I'm also pretty fucking lazy, because I don't want to work hard at doing anything. I want everything to be easy, because I know that ease and grace are our natural states of creation and being and attraction. and hard work and sacrifice, they are not our natural states of being. They're completely contrary to our divine essence. We have the power and the freedom to create anything we desire without having to work hard for anything, and certainly not to prove our worthiness at all to receive what we want. So really, sloth is a good thing, at least compared to what humans believe being slothful is, which is, classic laziness. I mean, I'd say that there's nothing wrong with being lazy because, again, ease is our natural state of creation. It's just, it's just based on how you perceive ease to be and judge, quote-unquote, laziness to be. But I would define a, quote-unquote, slothful person as a person who suffers from the usual faces of human suffering, of helplessness, powerless, unworthiness, etc. And so they just basically give up and stop trying, because what's the point of trying when they always fail, right? We see it all the time in the classic loser movies. Slothful people are often people who got fed up with trying to make everyone else happy at the expense of their own happiness. And so then they don't know what to do with themselves. They just can't control themselves anymore and manipulate themselves anymore to do shit that they don't want to do, because they no longer have the desire to, act in ways to keep everyone else happy at the expense of their own happiness. Or they followed a dream and then they got zero support from their friends and family, and because society believes that to get what you want, well, you've got to have lots of other people's support by scratching all their backs. So they figured, well, since I can't get humanity's support to fulfill my dreams, well, then fuck you all. Fuck society. I'd rather be homeless. I'd rather be free. I'd rather be a drug addict. I'd rather be a criminal. At least I would, I can feel some degree of freedom by saying fuck you to society, contrary to the lack of freedom and entrapment that I felt trying to please others and trying to get their love and approval all the time. The classic drunk or stoner is the epitome of sloth, which really is a person that has given up on their dreams, or they feel sad and helpless and powerless because they don't know how to fulfill their dreams. They haven't gotten the support that they believed they think they needed. Nobody gave them a break. They feel like a victim. It's like the other so-called deadly sins. It's full of lack rather than abundance. It's full of fear rather than confidence and expectation of joy and abundance. So where you want to get to is where you enjoy desiring your dreams, whether they have physically manifested or not, which is unconditional dreaming, unconditional desiring, where it's just fun being with and playing, imagining being with and playing with the lover, or traveling with them, or driving that car, or doing fun things with that person or that fun toy, etc. Even though that person or thing is not physically here yet. Whereas we could define sloth as conditional dreaming, where your dreams are painful to you to think about, rather than fun to imagine, because you're thinking about a lack of your dream, and doubting your dream, and doubting your ability to create, and doubting the ability to, attract support and attract your dreams or lover or whatever. And the tricky thing with dreams is, once you have a dream, it is impossible to let it go. because we are infinite, unlimited creators with the unlimited power and freedom to create anything we desire. And as soon as we have a dream, our own source self instantly creates that dream in vibrational reality. And then that dream and our own source calls that dream to us, calls us to that dream literally forever until you fulfill that dream in physical reality and then move on to the next dream, or you at least just unconditionally enjoy that delicious dream, enjoy imagining, being and doing, having that dream and having fun with that dream as if you are already doing and being and having that dream right now, even though it's not physically here yet. So, the source of these so-called 7 deadly sins are all based on lies. Lies of lack, lies of helplessness, lies of powerlessness, lies of unworthiness, lies of not good enough. They're all based on a conditional existence where you are codependent on a condition for your happiness. They're based on beliefs in limitation, that there's not enough love and money and success and sex and joy and resources and approval and recognition and support, etc., which are all lies. There is no such thing as a limitation of anything. They're all based in and supported by limited, doubt-oriented, unworthy-oriented, bad-feeling thoughts. They're based on thinking about unwanted things that are not easy to like, love, and appreciate, rather than thinking about things that are easy to like, love, and appreciate, which always feels good. Lack-oriented, doubt-oriented desire always feels bad, whereas pure, unadulterated, joyful, delicious desire feels wonderful because your natural state of being is joy and abundance. And when you have joyful, abundant desires, you have a winning, great feeling combination. So the question you always want to be asking yourself is, in regards to your desires, is, does that thought that I'm having about that desire feel good or not? Does it feel good to imagine playing with that person and playing with that toy and having that person or that thing in my life? If the answer is yes, well, then you have been thinking about a joyful, delicious abundance of that desire rather than a bad feeling lack of that desire. So, just keep thinking similar, good feeling, yummy, abundant thoughts about that fun desire. Alternatively, does it feel good to doubt and judge your desires? That those desires are somehow wrong or bad or unreasonable or impossible or impure or immoral or sinful or too sexual, etc. Well, of course not. So then don't think those kinds of judgmental thoughts about your desires or about anything. Enjoy the delight and joy of your delicious desires. Enjoy desiring that fun car. Enjoy desiring that sexy person in your life and doing fun things with that sexy person in that fun car. And even enjoy lusting after that person sexually. Give yourself the freedom to do that without judging yourself, because there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you are enjoying, desiring a delicious abundance of that sexy person in your bed, in your life, etc., without judging yourself. You're enjoying the desire of doing fun things with them, dating them, going out with them, dancing, holding hands, kissing, laughing, and dare I say, fucking. But if you judge yourself for lusting after them, and they haven't consented to being lusted after, well, there's where you will get yourself in trouble. Not because the lust is not reciprocal, and they're going to call the lust police on you, but because you're judging your own behavior as being wrong or sinful, etc., which always feels bad. Not because you're somehow being immoral, but because your own source self, or God, if you will, is not judging your quote-unquote lustful behavior. Does not happen, never will, never does. And because there is no such thing as assertion, well, and there is only attraction in this attraction-based universe, you can feel relieved to know that that person attracted your lust 100% because they actually want to be desired and lusted after by potential lovers and by people in general. They want to be approved of, and they want people's attention to feel good about themselves. Maybe they don't necessarily want to be specifically lusted after by you, but nevertheless, they want to be lusted after. Generally. If they didn't, then they wouldn't have attracted your lust. And specifically, they want to be lusted after by potential lovers that they are attracted to. And understand that there is absolutely nothing wrong with any desire that you may have. Not absolutely nothing. No higher divine being is ever going to judge your desires. Ever, never has, never will. But there's something tragically wrong, so to speak, for judging your own desires. In fact, you're the only one that really affects you in negative ways, even if other people judge you. If you don't give a fuck about their judgment, well, then it's not going to affect you if you're not reacting to it. So I would say that judgment is really the deadliest sin of them all. I would make judgment number 1 on the new list of 8 deadly sins. And to use our classic lust analogy, there's nothing wrong with imagining getting jiggy with anyone. But there is something wrong, so to speak, with thinking that it's bad to think about that person sexually. And judge yourself as being immoral or impure or sinful because you desire to, get naked with them. Even if your sexual desire is to fuck a chicken, well, it will actually feel good to think about fucking chickens as long as you don't judge your chicken fucking fetish. Say that 3 times real fast. Or to take it into a less extreme manner, let's say you see a hot guy or hot girl or hot non-gender specific person who is quote-unquote out of your league, or they're way younger than you or way hotter than you, etc. As long as you don't judge that desire, well, it's going to feel fine and to imagine rolling in the sheets together. Doesn't matter if it's, an actress or an actor that's super hot and sexy. As long as you don't judge yourself for lusting after them, it's going to feel good. Or let's say it's not someone out of your league and it's someone you know and, they're actually nice to you and you're very much interested in them, but, you're not yet together and maybe they're just not into you as much as you're into them. As long as you keep thinking about all the delicious things that you'd like to do with that person and not judge your desires or think about the fact that they're not currently naked in your bed, well, you're going to feel great just enjoying doing delicious, fun, and exciting things with that person. And the point is, you're just enjoying, imagining, doing fun things with them. You're not addictively needing to possess and control them and own them to fill some sort of void within you. You're enjoying the dream that they have wholeheartedly said yes to your advances, and you are mutually enjoying each other's company and love and flesh and play together, even though it is not currently a physical reality yet. You're not thinking bad feeling thoughts such as he or she is out of your league, or imagining being rejected, or imagining them calling the lust police to have you arrested for imagining seeing them naked in your bed. Simply and finally, if you want to be happy and fulfilled all the time, then you got to learn how to be an unconditional desirer, where you just enjoy your delicious desires without a need for them to physically be here yet, and without judging them as being wrong or bad or etc. Your goal is to always feel good and to be happy unconditionally. To not be reliant upon anyone or anything to be the source of your happiness. And the bonus of becoming an unconditional desirer is, first of all, you're happy all of the time, regardless of what dramas are happening in the world, or even other dramas happening in your life. And two, your general daily happiness attracts to you all of the wonderful things you desire that match your general state of joy. So always remember the master key to feeling good and attracting your fun desires, which is get happy, which attracts happy things that match your vibration of happiness. It is not, as the greedy humans believe, that when I get my desire, then I'll finally be happy. The former example is the road to complete 100% and utter self-empowerment, as well as joy and fulfillment. And the latter is the road to complete disempowerment and unhappiness and lack of fulfillment. So, it's your choice. And that's your choice every single day of your life and every moment of your life every single day. Empowerment or disempowerment. Empower my life by being unconditionally happy to attract happy things, or disempower myself by being a greedy, conditional desire addict. Be a slave to conditions and never achieve fulfillment, or become an unconditional master of infinite joy, well-being, abundance, and be fulfilled every single day of my life. That's the choice. That's your choice every day and every moment of your life. So I hope you have enjoyed my insanely empowering vodcast, Lust versus Delicious Joyful Desire, and it helps you understand how and where to focus your thoughts in good feeling ways to not only be happy all the time, but to manifest your delicious desires into your physical reality and into your fun life. And it helps you understand that the most important master key of all, which is get happy to attract happy things. It's not when I get happy things, I'll be happy. It's get happy to attract happy things that match my happiness vibration. So, if you did enjoy this vodcast, and how could you not? It was freaking amazing. Please share with your friends. Bless them with these amazing teachings. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel and my podcast channel, The Master Keys of Creation. Come visit me at ZaKaiRan.com for more self-empowering goodies to help you become a conscious, deliberate creator of reality and make all your dreams come true. My name is ZaKaiRan, and I'm here to help you remember that you are an unlimited master of divine creation. And you have the power and freedom to create the joy, love, well-being, and abundance that you desire and that you ultimately truly are. So thanks again for watching my video or listening to this podcast, and I wish you immense joy and abundance on your magnificent journey of divine creation. And of course, remember to make life a holiday. Woohoo!